Hi girls and parents, today's conversation is a little bit about what the holidays might look like. I know there were lots of questions from the girls and parents about it in the last few days with the holidays coming up, so I have my friend Joelle with me this morning who will give us some tips on what's ahead.
So Miss Rockwell, how do I spend the holidays at home, not really going out and not going a bit mad?
I'm actually worried about it myself because I'm one who loves going to the beach, going out on walks and doing those sort of things, and knowing that the beaches are closed now, I'm so worried about that. What can I do? So I'm thinking, yes, the walk will continue, so I'll continue to do a bit of walk, ensuring that I'm not on my phone looking on Instagram all the time. That's one thing I often can just drift into and forget about that. But I've recently downloaded a great app called Calm, and it's really good. I don't know, have you tried it?
I love Calm.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's just a meditation app, and I do it just laying in a hammock in my backyard and just sit for 5-10 minutes on it. Not too long because I can't sit still for too long. I like moving around. So doing that for at least once a day or every second day is one thing I could do.
Lovely.
Walking the dog, little things like that. Cleaning up around the house. I love cleaning as well, so that's another thing I'll be doing. But maybe the girls could do the same in terms of helping their parents around the house, just to get away from the screens. And that's one thing I'm concerned about, and I'm sure all the parents would be concerned about, ensuring that their daughters are not on their screens the whole time. So our advice to the girls is to just say, yep, let's get out and do some physical activity, walking. Calling friends is good, maybe FaceTiming my friends as well. That's what I'll be doing. I won't be able to see my nieces and nephews, so that's another thing that I recommend to the girls. I can understand they might be missing their grandparents, little things like that. So maybe FaceTime is the way to go. Yes, we're using the phone, but we're connecting with another person. So looking after yourself is really important, and they're the things that could be done to look after ourselves.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, thank you. So were there any ideas that you had, Joelle, that you think I missed out on or I forgot about, focusing on my little world and the girls' world? Is there anything else that you think we could add as advice?
No, I think what you talked about is really, really important, because for each of us, looking after ourselves is so individual and so different. And with self-care, there's a lot of shoulds. I should do this or I should do that. So I think it's lovely to kind of think about what you'll do for yourself. Another nice idea might be about taking action. So it's really, really normal and natural at this point to feel a little bit uncertain, a little bit worried about what's going on. And what you can do is kind of make a choice to take some action around it. So that can even be things like just noticing the thoughts coming into your mind, acknowledging them, but just observing them, focusing on what you're doing and not what you're thinking, and you'll notice the thoughts reduce and disappear into the distance. Another thing to do actively is to look for the good in others. So I was thinking about this week, there were 2 clips on YouTube that went viral in Australia about toilet paper. One was about 3 women fighting in the supermarket, but another one was about 2 young children who pulled a cart of toilet paper behind them and shared with the elderly in the neighbourhood. So
Beautiful.
I think at this point it can be really easy to despair at how people are behaving and some of the things that are going on, but if we proactively look for pro-social sides of this crisis, you know, lots of people, communities are coming together, people are donating money to science to find a cure, everyone's banding together. So making a choice to maybe even think about who you want to be thankful for in your community and how you can reach out could be a nice thing to do.
That's a great idea. I love the idea. Maybe cooking some baking, and we learn lots of mathematics through baking. So maybe baking some things for their community, neighbours who might be elderly and their families are not visiting due to the limitations around visits. So that would be great. That sounds really good.
Write
I love that idea.
or something.
Fantastic. Celebrating birthdays too.
Yes,
we're not going to be able to do that with all the gatherings that are banned at the moment and not having. So I feel for those girls who birthday are coming about in the next few days or over the holidays, but I'm sure their parents will think of some great ideas to do around birthdays.
You might have to get back to normal letter writing in the post.
Yeah, that's getting that pen out. I forget how to use the pen sometimes. True. And we talked a little bit about ways of connecting with each other as friends, because I know the girls are really missing that. I'm missing seeing the girls, and I'm sure you are too, around the playgrounds and that social interaction is really something that they would be feeling. We know that. I've just been in the KM building chatting to some Year 12s who are here today, and that's exactly what they were missing. Is there anything else that we can think about? I know we talked about FaceTime. Was there anything that you might like to recommend the girls to do as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, in a way, a really nice time to get creative with different ways that you can connect with your friends. So we've created a student toolkit that the girls can log on to on the website just to have a look at some ideas. We'll be continuing to post lots of things, but I know one thing some girls are doing is even getting a group of friends together and working through some fun challenges every day and kind of sharing pictures and videos of what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's on Teams, not with each
yes,
other, not in person.
Yeah, on Teams,
so we need to remember no gatherings.
Exactly. So doing that online and just getting a bit creative, but we'll keep putting up lots of different ideas on the toolkit, and it's a nice time to get a bit flexible and think creatively. So,
And for the parents as well to know, we're also creating the same toolkit for parents so they can access some of these ideas on what they can do during the holidays with different activities that they might like to do. And I'm sure parents have got lots of ideas and plans, probably better than ours, but we'll be adding a little bit of that to the parent toolkit as well as the students. And if girls are wondering where the student toolkit is, it was emailed to them last week from each of the heads of schools, so they have all that information. If you get any questions about that, that's where it is.
Perfect.
Okay, another question that I thought about again is, how do I cope with the fact that we don't know when will this isolation end? What are some tips that you could give to the girls or the parents?
Well, I think the first thing to really acknowledge is that feeling worried about all this uncertainty is very, very normal. Our brains actually hate uncertainty, so the way we're wired means that our brains aren't designed to anticipate huge and sudden growth. So it's very natural to be struggling to understand or even predict what's happening at the moment because it's unimaginable, and that's not how our brains work. So one idea is to start just being kind to yourself and accepting this is really normal to feel stressed or a bit worried or a bit overwhelmed. Remember, you're not alone in feeling this way, so talk to your parents, talk to your friends. I think more often than not you'll find they're in the same boat as well, and just sharing some of that can be really helpful. Another idea that is really helpful is to really kind of stop and focus on what's in your control. So unfortunately, we can't control what will happen in the future, what it'll look like, even what other people are doing. And it's hard to control, for example, even your feelings. You can't control that. But what we can control is what we decide to do about it. So do I sit and continue to read lots and lots of news articles that are kind of fear-mongering and, you know, kind of continue just the anxiety? Or do I go, okay, I need to shift my attention to something else, or I need to distract myself, I need to share with someone. So take control over what is in your circle.
Exactly. And we are surrounded by all the news at the moment, aren't we? Whether they're on their social media platform or the news or the radio in the car, everybody's talking about it. So it's a great point that to switch away from it and just focus a little bit on themselves and do what they can do during that time for themselves and not worry too much about that the next day.
News cycle.
Absolutely.
Great. That sounds good.
Excellent. And that we touched a little bit on that constant news, you know, can be overwhelming, and we've covered that a little bit. In terms of play, we know the girls like to play. We know the Year 12 girls have had the opportunity to connect with our little ones at times, and they really enjoyed spending time down at the riverbed a few times this year and last year as well. And we've had to stop that interaction, which saddens people. Are there any tips for girls from Year 7 to Year 12? What can they do to play and just have a bit of downtime other than using the apps, other than going for? Is there anything that you can think of that they can do?
I mean, I think it's quite a nice time. I know this probably sounds a little bit cheesy, but even just connecting with people in your home in different ways. So your brothers, your sisters, your parents, and just maybe even taking an interest in their interests and seeing what you can do together. You know, doing a board game, playing playing
Monopoly.
a game together. Exactly. Some of
Monopoly
that old
for a
school
long time.
stuff. And in terms of downtime, I'm actually sort of really encouraging people to see this as an opportunity to even intentionally carving out the time to just do nothing, you know, or just do one task at a time. Sit in your window, you know, watch the view outside, have a
Yeah.
hot chocolate without your phone on.
Yeah.
Because we're doing a lot of screen time at the moment.
Yes, that's right.
And it's just the way that the world is working at this point
Yeah.
in time with our remote learning,
Yeah.
and it can be a lot. So
Yeah.
just carving out that time to even just do nothing,
Yeah, yeah.
And have that stillness.
And I guess for those little ones, they can just get really anything, and that
Yeah.
unstructured play,
Get imaginative.
play,
yeah.
they can do that
Yeah.
In their own time at
Yeah.
home. Maybe the older ones can help them, but if they're not older ones, move away from the screens is what we keep saying,
Yeah.
and just try and
Yeah.
get those little blocks, maybe anything that
Yeah.
they can create themselves.
Exactly.
So boredom can help with creativity.
I think
we
so,
know that, and I
yeah.
think that's a good way. It's okay to be bored. That's fine.
Exactly.
We don't need to keep feeling that we have to be busy all the time.
Exactly.
I agree.
I think it's nice for parents to even model that to their younger kids as well.
Yes.
That, let's be bored together. Let's look out the window and see what we can
Yeah.
see, or
Yeah,
let's get
exactly.
creative. So,
Yeah. Look up. The sky is
Yeah.
beautiful. The trees around us are beautiful.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Joelle, for
Thank
your
you, Miss
time this
Rockwell.
morning.
You
I've
too.
really enjoyed our conversation.
Same.
And hopefully it is helpful to our girls and parents.